For years, I thought learning the pentatonic boxes all over the fretboard would somehow make me able to rip an awesome solo off the cuff, anytime, anywhere. That's what I thought, and that's kind of what I was led to believe from some well-meaning guitar magazine articles. And while my fingers definitely got some good workouts, it did very little to teach me how to use the scales I was memorizing. Here's what actually helped: learning by playing, not memorizing. In this lesson, I'll show you a simple way to get started by exploring the fretboard on your own. So tune to drop D for this one, and let's dig in. Let's start with what you probably already know, a D minor chord in the open position. We're going to stay right here in this area and build some bluesy licks. And in a minute, we're going to reach for a note called the minor third, which is really one of the most important sounds to the blues. And the Fretboard Toolkit shows you exactly where to find that interval anywhere on the neck. It's free, and the link is in the description if you want to grab it. Here's an open position D minor chord, and we're going to use this as really home base when it comes to creating some licks, because if we're going to solo over the key of D minor, then the places I have my fingers on the fretboard, these are perfect notes to incorporate in my licks and phrases. In fact, we just need to find two more to really give ourselves the ability to explore a little bit and create some movement in the phrases. So let's find them. We already know we've got our D here. That's the third fret of the second string, right? That's what makes this a D chord of some kind. And the next note is our F here, and that's what makes this a D minor. This is a minor third from D to F. But we could keep going up that first string while just staying in this 3-fret area and play another note, the G note, 3rd fret. It works really well. But as you can see, it's outside the chord. That's cool, we want that. But we can't get any higher than that G, or else we'd have to get out of position. We want to stay in position here so we can really learn this position. But we can go down. We can reverse through the strings, descend in pitch. Let's do that by dropping down to the C on the 2nd string, 1st fret. And then we already know we've got that A that's in the chord on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So really, now we have 5 notes. And that's all we need to really start creating some really cool, simple, bluesy licks. And don't forget that we're in drop D tuning, so we've got the 6th string available to give us some low end to solo and try out our phrasing over, whether it's an alternating bass like this, 6th string, 4th string, or just pumping that 6th string, or just a simple drone, let it ring. While you work on your phrasing. Notice how staying in one spot forces you to really tune in to what you're doing. You get to hear what each note sounds like over that bass. And the licks aren't fancy, that's on purpose. We want to keep things simple and really get to know how these notes sound in relation to each other. But then, once we got that kind of under our fingers, we'll learn how to move it to somewhere new. And here's where it gets interesting. When you move a phrase to a different spot on the neck, even just playing the same note in a new location, something kind of shifts. You're in new territory, and it makes you think a little bit differently. You make different musical choices. Let's take a quick look back to our open D minor chord here. Now, when we mapped out our tones, we included 2 that essentially gave us the notes of the minor pentatonic scale. D minor pentatonic scale, that really works. Those are great choices for us to jam with. We start with D, move to F, up to G, and then we needed to drop down to play the next note, A, and then C, and then back home to D. But there's something really cool happening here. Between the D and the F, this is a minor third. That's the first little jump from the minor pentatonic scale. And we call it that because it gives us that minor sound, whereas if we raise that F just by 1 note to F sharp, we get a major sound. You can hear the difference. Kind of happy, bright, or a little sad and dark. This is where we're working though for this lesson. But the thing is, we can find that F, that very next note of our minor pentatonic scale, in another position. That's probably the coolest thing and the most frustrating thing about the guitar. We can find that F on the second string, 6th fret as well. And we could keep going, but what's usable to us here is coming up and finding that same minor third interval up the neck, traveling this direction rather than this direction. We already know we got a G that we can use. We can also find an A. We had it there, but this A is in a higher octave, so we're definitely getting some new note choices here. And by the way, we can get a C on the third string now. And that C we played here is on the third string. It sounds just slightly different. So we're gaining some movement, but that movement gets us something. It gives us some different options. And if nothing else, it gives us a slightly different sound, even playing the same licks and phrases, just in a different position. This is how confidence on the fretboard is built, not from memorizing patterns, but from exploring. You remember it deeper, and you've got some options now in 2 areas, and we didn't really have to memorize anything. We discovered what we just learned. So the next step is, of course, to connect the dots. Let's connect these positions with a little exercise I call focused noodling. Here's how this works. We're going to get a bass going, which can be one of these 3 things. An alternating bass, 6th string, 4th string. Remember, these are both D in this tuning. So that's going to work perfectly for us to try out some D minor pentatonic licks in our positions. Or we could just do a steady bass, just the 6th string, or even hit that 6th string and let it drone as we get to work. Now about that, what we're going to do is take what we learned here in this position with those 5 notes and what we learned here in this position, and we're going to start changing between them, focusing just on the 2nd string and the 1st string as our pathways. Watch this. So if we take this, we can shift up on the 1st string to that 3rd fret, and then now we're in our 3rd position. We call it 3rd position because starting on the 3rd fret here. Or of course, we could go back that same way. And of course, we can go up and back down along the 2nd string. So we can put all that together and start moving between the 2. And there I did it with just that drone, occasionally hitting that 6th string to help us mark time. We want to do that, but to also give us that weight. In the low end. I did some focused noodling of my own and put together a jam using this material. Premium members are going to have access to the downloadable tab and the interactive tab player for this jam. Just look for lesson ID TB513 in the library. That's the method. We start small, we reach for new options, and then we connect what we found. We're not memorizing, we're building our own vocabulary through actually playing and exploring. But here's the thing, we stayed in the first 5 frets mostly today. What happens when we want to move beyond that? How do you take what we've built here and connect it to the rest of the neck? We'll watch this video next, and I'll show you how to use chord shapes that you probably already know to conquer the rest of the fretboard with a super simple system. Until then, practice smart and play on.